Well, that's another side LP for the books, and as for Mario 64, I'd say I'm not gonna give out a specific date, but expect it at some point during the first half of November, probably closer to the second week of November. As I said, this isn't definite though. It could be later, it could be earlier, but I'm hoping to have the LP start around then. Now, as I promised, there are a few more details that emerged regarding the TSG Castlevania Marathon, and that is the list of games that's going to be played. Unlike my previous guess, it's not going to be on a you-name-it-they'll-play-it basis. There are going to be a few games missing. I'm going to post the list of games in the movie description, since I have no idea how to link to a single post. So yeah, check out the movie description if you want to see which games are going to be played. But back to this LP. You were many to react on what I put in the memo pad in the last video, and I was, just going along with it, acting like it wasn't there just for kicks. And I've seen quite a few people suggest that I should do this every video from now on. Put something in the memo pad. But no, that was a one-time deal. I'm going to stick mostly with the app I'm currently having. I already forgot what it was called technically, Pokémon list, whatever. And someone suggested that I should do something about, how Blissey is a dirty pink fat whore who put Regice out of a job since I'm escorting a trainer with a Chansey right now. And no, that joke's already rather well established among those who have been following me for any length of time. And the deal is that it's especially true today, because in Generation 5 there are a few things that greatly improve Blissey compared to how it used to be. Yes, because if there was one Pokemon that needed improvement, it was Blissey, of all things. Well, first, I've briefly mentioned it in the previous video. Explosion and Self-Destruct do not have defense anymore while the attack is in effect. The reason for that is because they wanted to prevent it from overpowering doubles and triples, which, it's all good and well, but in singles, Explosion is already some Pokemon's only way of dealing with Blissey. So now that this change happened, you got Pokemon that used to explode in Blissey's face, like Heatran or Gengar, that are now completely walled by it. And just a side note here, since I'm fighting the alternate Burmy forms, Burmy doesn't change type when changing forms, only when evolving does it change form. So for example, Bite here was neutral because Steel Burmy isn't actually Steel, but it gains the Steel type when evolving into Wormadam, and that's only for females, by the way. All males evolve into Mothim, which is Bug Flying. And by the way, this last battle I fought, as well as this one, shows you that when you're taking on only one trainer at a time while you're being escorted, or escorting a trainer, it depends on your point of view, you're taking on that trainer in a single battle, which personally suits me better, but whatever, it's all a matter of opinion. And yes, you are automatically fully healed after battles that you fight in singles as well. And once again, I want to come back on something I said in, oh wow, level 27, you know what that means? Mega Drain! So now I'm going to ditch Absorb, since it was really falling behind in terms of usefulness, and even then, I'm not planning on using Mega Drain all that much, especially not on a Grotto that has an ability that reduces special attack, but whatever, I can deal with that. So I wanted to come back, as I said, on something that I said in the last video. I was talking about the pre-evolution stone, and some people got to talking about, how awesome it was going to be in Little Cup and stuff, but let's face it, this thing is going to join the Deep Sea Tooth among the items that are banned from Little Cup, because technically every single Pokemon that is in Little Cup can use the pre-evolution stone. So it's just so good that you're going to end up with teams with 6 pre-evolution stones. So there's going to be no fun in that, so that's why I'm pretty sure it's going to be banned. If you're watching this from the distant future of 2013 and it actually turns out that it's not banned, despite boosting 2 stats by 1 level with no drawback whatsoever, well, I'd be very surprised, but don't bother telling me if you're watching this from the distant future, because I probably already know. Okay, and another thing I wanted to bring up that has got a lot of people talking lately is the Dream World. It's been open for business for almost 2 weeks, and despite Cerebi having a list of Pokemon you can find in the second area, which is Open Sky, I haven't heard reports of anyone unlocking the second area, no matter how much they use the Dream World. That's right, it's a really long and tedious process. Somebody on Smogon compared going into the small forest to the tediousness of grinding in an MMO. That is saying a lot, and I'm thinking they're really, really fucked up when it comes to variety and stuff like that in the Dream World. I mean, apparently you need 5,000 points to unlock the Open Sky area, and 5,000 points takes weeks, if not months, to attain. So how many areas are there in the Dream World? We know there are at least 3, but if it takes so long to unlock the second one, wow! I'm going to compare it to the Pokewalker as an example. You unlock the first few areas fairly quickly, and then it sort of became slower as you went on, but here it's already really slow to begin with. You need several weeks at best to unlock the second area, so how many points does it take to unlock the other ones, especially if there are more than 3? And another thing regarding the Dream World is that, much to everyone's horror, we realized that Pokemon obtained in the Dream World through events could only be male. That I can understand why they did that. They just didn't want to have everyone breeding those Dream World abilities into infinity, since they're supposed to be rare, but it also has the unfortunate side effect of preventing us from having those abilities being compatible with egg moves. So for example, unless by some miracle we're ever able to obtain Blaziken through the Dream World the usual way, Speed Boost and Baton Pass are still going to remain illegal on Blaziken, sadly. That is going to cut us off from quite a few interesting combos. Let's assume for a moment that the Johto starters are only available through events. Feraligator's Encourage is going to find itself significantly nerfed as a result, because you lose the likes of Ice Punch, Aqua Jet, Dragon Dance, and so yeah, it's fairly serious. And speaking of Dream World abilities, it actually has nothing to do with the Dream World itself. I was thinking more along the lines of the Nidos with Encourage, which is their Dream World ability, but it's been discovered that if you use a move that's boosted by Encourage and you have a Life Orb on that Pokemon, you are not going to take any recoil from the Life Orb. So for example, let's assume you got a Nidoking using Earth Power. It's going to get a 30% boost from Encourage, another one from the Life Orb, but there's going to be no recoil. But if it uses Earthquake instead, it's not boosted by Encourage, and so it's still going to take the recoil from the Life Orb. So I hope I made it clear at least. But okay, let's change gears entirely and talk about a different game for once. I've had a few people ask me about Ranger 3. I still haven't completed it yet, and nope, this isn't the way I need to go. Still haven't completed it yet because I've been busy at work, playing other games and so on and so forth. But one thing I wanted to talk about was the past missions. And it really shows that they were designed for co-op play. If you try to solo them, you're going to hit a wall fairly quickly. The last mission in the Forest Temple, which is the first temple of 6, I might add, was actually really difficult. I needed to grind a lot to be able to get through there, and then after that, the first mission in the Fire Temple was just wow, I just can't beat it. It's, well, the mission itself is okay. It's the Mag Mortar at the end. I can't beat it no matter how hard I try. Because the thing is, I'm all alone. And, of course, those things have been designed for co-op. So, if you're all alone, of course you won't be able to make as many loops around the Pokemon. You won't have as many chances to use your partners, because of course if you got 4 partners wailing on the Pokemon at once, it's naturally a lot earlier. Earlier? Why did I say earlier? Easier! That was the word I was looking for. Because the thing is that there's no change between playing the game with 1 player or playing it with 4. Now that might seem obvious, but taking a game like, for example, Diablo 2. For example, in Diablo 2, the monster's HP is multiplied by the number of players currently in the game, so there's sort of a scaling effect, so that the game isn't too hard with 1 player or too easy with 8, and the monsters also give out more experience total the more players are in the game. And in Ranger 3, in the past, there's nothing of the sort. The enemies you fight have the same energy with 1 player as with 4. Got poison. Doesn't really matter because I'm gonna get healed instantly anyway. This is one of the perks of traveling with someone else. You can use contact attacks on a Budu with Poison Point without worrying about poison killing you eventually. Anyway, we just caught a glimpse of a road that was closed off by cuttable trees. This road leads to the Old Chateau. Naturally, you need Cut to get through there, and you gain the right to use Cut after beating Gardenia in Eterna City, the second gym leader. And in that place, there are lots and lots of Ghastlies. You can find Haunters and Gengars in there if you have a Game Boy Advance game of Pokemon, of course. It's not going to work if you have Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy VI or something else in the slot. It has to be a Pokemon game. But yeah, if you have something that's well, even there, spin-offs won't work. You need Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, or Leaf Green. There are several Pokemon that are only caught in this manner in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. And, well, Haunter and Gengar are 2 of those Pokemon that you can find Ghastlies in the wild, as we're seeing right now, but you can find Haunters and Gengars in the Old Chateau if you have Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, Leaf Green in the Game Boy Advance slot. Of course, if you're playing on a DSi, tough luck, no Haunters and Gengars for you. Same thing for emulator users. Obviously. Oh, got poisoned again. Oh, I really don't care. Infinite healing. Whatever. Anyway, the big attraction in the Old Chateau is, of course, Rotom, but oh, we reached the exit of the Eterna Forest, so now Cheryl got through just fine, I guess. So, yeah, thanks for the infinite healing. I'm gonna miss you. Honestly, it was just so fun, bulldozing over everything. Even more than I usually do, at least. The Soothe Bell, this is an item that when you give it to a Pokemon, it's going to increase its happiness faster, which is going to come in extremely handy in just a little while. Anyway, as I was saying, in the Old Chateau, the big attraction is Rotom, but I'm going to head to the Old Chateau after beating Gardenia, but I'm not going to catch Rotom quite yet because its catch rate is relatively low. Rather, I'm going to wait until I have a sleeper and some dusk balls to make it easier. And, yeah, of course there's no danger of me forgetting about it since you need to encounter that Rotom in order to get the National Dex, since you need to see every single one of the 210 Pokemon in the Sinnoh Dex in order to get the National Dex, and Rotom, well, fighting that Rotom there is the only way of seeing one to begin with, and I'm going to capture it while I'm at it since it's a one-off. So I'm just going to pick those berries, and I'm going to be done for today. So next time on Pokemon Emerald Platinum, stupid! We are going to explore Route 205 North and meet up with an old friend from Red, Blue, and Yellow!